Well, most parents and grandparents are aware of what happened under Mao. It's still within living memory. It's not some kind of a distant historical event. But the children of today have very little understanding of what happened during the Great Leap Forward. Are you worried that parents, even though they're aware of Mao, might not fully understand the length to which our universities have started to implement this Marxist policies and how serious it actually is? Have you seen parents maybe indifferent to it or think that it's being drummed up by the media rather than being a very serious part of their children's education?
I don't think parents, and I'm not really in a position to be authoritative on this. I can only speak of parents in my own circle, but it would seem to me parents tend to dismiss this. They don't think it is what it really is. They don't place the sort of importance that they should be on the corruption of the education system, which is essentially what this is. And when we look at other countries, for example, India or even China itself, that these people do at least believe in the values that they have, and they're being taught things where arithmetic, whatever the language is, are being taught appropriately, not on the basis where it's secondary to well-being. And it means that for a country like Australia, we're going to be slipping further behind. And as you point out, it means that those people who feel most vulnerable will look to government to provide them with more support. So it becomes self-perpetuating.
It's not even really Maoist, is it? It's more like a lazy dictatorship because we've got the worst parts of tyranny and none of the good parts of Western civilization. So not only are our kids brainwashed, they're also growing up quite stupid or at least uneducated, and that's not a good thing. But I would like to ask you a final question before we go. You talk a lot about the concept of privilege. I would like to know where this toxic concept of privilege has arisen, because the Australian story, regardless of colour, is not distinctly one of privilege. Everyone came from suffering and hardship. Hope and hard work have been, for many decades, the defining feature of this nation's construction. So privilege cannot be a homegrown ideology. Where is it coming from?
Well, I think it's the politics of envy. And it's certainly Marxist, socialist, whatever term you want to apply to it. But it is, again, going to the point that everybody should be equal. And of course, we know that that is not desirable nor possible. And what I find in relation to the current debate on the voice, the answer to the Aboriginal question, those that live in remote communities and town camps, is not to take away the democracy that we all enjoy through changes to the Constitution. It is to give these people the opportunity of education, jobs and integration. That is what has emancipated those Aboriginal people who don't even look to their colour as being relevant. But they have come through this way, and though many of them who sit in the parliaments, who are activists in this voice campaign, are essentially they're deriding, they're criticising the very society which allowed them to be upwardly mobile. And they should be out there celebrating and saying, look, I've done this, we've done this, you can do this too if you get educated, if you get jobs, and if you have if you discard the whole idea that somehow or other your colour distinguishes you from everybody else.